So, I love Undertale's combat system. I love how surprising the different encounters are. I love how much humor and charm is packed into it. I love that there are multiple solutions for every fight. I love the small minigames that break the usually so stale turn-based combat. I love the jokes. It's just so wonderfully done. So recently I started to wonder how many of the features of Undertale's combat system we can recreate in Super Mario Maker. For those not familiar with Undertale, combat takes place in turns. We either attack or use an act command. The act command allows us to solve encounters peacefully and acts more like a small puzzle. We attack by a small timing minigame, enemies attack us in a small shoot them up minigame where we have to dodge their attacks for a while. The game has a different ending depending on whether you spare all enemies, spare some or kill them all. And as it turns out, each and every one of those aspects can be recreated in Super Mario Maker. So today we're going to take a look at a Mario Maker Undertale fighting system that features a timing minigame that deals more damage the better we time it, an enemy with 4 different attacks from which it chooses one at random, a custom dialogue system that allows us to resolve the fight peacefully, a hint system where our enemy gives us different hints onto what dialogue choices to use, and different endings depending on whether we solve the fight peacefully or with force. So you ready? Let's do this! Okay, so Mario just stumbled into a cliff and after a long fall, he found himself in this very strange stage. There is nothing special here until Mario walks through this door, because this door starts a fight against a horrible dry bone. This is the attack selection screen. Our plumber has 2 choices here. He can either choose the attack command to his left or the act command to his right. Let's first kill this dry bone and let's spare him afterwards. Mario attacks first. The attack happens as soon as we press A here. This bullet blaster cycles from the left to the right and represents Mario's damage meter. The further to the left the damage meter stops, the more damage our plumber will deal. As soon as Mario hits A, the bullet blaster stops and our brave plumber is allowed to proceed. Here the blaster stopped in the middle, which means that Mario will deal 2 damage. The next room is the actual attack room, where the damage is dealt and we're able to see the current health of our skeleton Koopa. The health is represented by those brick blocks at the top. The damage is dealt by shells. If a shell hits the power block, the dead Koopa dies again, and Mario won the fight. Since Mario got a medium result in the attack minigame previously, he deals 2 damage here. Then our plumber has to go through this door, which teleports him into the dry bone attack randomizer. There are 4 different exit pipes at the top. Each one of them teleports Mario to a different dry bone attack, but only one of them is accessible. Which one is decided by random, and each attack has a chance of 25% to be chosen. If Mario goes through this pipe, his soul exits it on the other side. So here Mario, or better Mario's soul, or his heart, I mean, technically the heart is still Mario, or the heart-shaped plumber is Mario's soul? Is it a plumber-shaped heart? It's complicated. Anyway, here Mario's soul, represented by Mario, has to dodge all the evil attacks the dry bone throws towards him, while he waits for a hidden timer to expire. There are 4 different minigames. Mario either has to dodge horrific fireballs thrown by dangerous piranha plants, or he has to dodge ouching spikes shot by bullying winged spinies. Or he has to escape evil cannonballs that fly towards him in endless waves. Or he has to dodge crushing ice blocks that randomly drop from the ceiling. All the attack minigames last for about 8 seconds and are really dangerous for poor plumber. But as long as he stays determined, he should be able to survive until the exit door opens up and takes our plumber back to the attack selection screen. So let's attack again. This time Mario manages to stop the bullet blaster at the far left, which represents a critical hit and 3 damage. Then the 3 damage are dealt to a poor dead dry bone. Next the attack selection screen appears once again, where another minigame is selected. Then our plumber shaped soul has to survive the minigame once again until we are back at the attack selection screen. So let's skip forward a little bit. Here Mario lands the last necessary hits on the dry bone. As soon as the power block is destroyed, the dead Koopa finally dies. The exit door becomes locked, but another exit pipe opens up. This pipe takes Mario to the evil ending where he walks towards his beloved X-Pole, while all the enemies below him die. Hooray! But what if Mario doesn't feel especially murderous today? What if Mario wants to save the dead Koopa's life today? What if he tries to resolve the conflict peacefully? Well, let's head back to the start and check it out. So this time Mario decides to choose the act command instead of the fight one. This leads our plumber to this dialogue menu. Mario now has to choose 1 out of 3 dialogue options. Since Miiverse comments died a couple of months ago, the dialogue choices are A. Power block, B. P-switch, and C, spring. But how is Mario supposed to know which dialogue choice is the right one in order to end this conflict peacefully? Well, if we go back in time a little bit, we can see that the dry bone actually gave Mario a small hint onto which option to choose before. He clearly showed Mario that he feels especially P-switch this turn. So the first time the right dialogue choice is P-switch. Once the choice was made, all the other choices lock up by some evil dialogue tree options magic, and Mario is able to proceed. This path leads him to the attack randomizer, to attack minigame, and back to the attack selection screen. Here we can see that the dry bone gives Mario a new hint. This turn he feels especially power block. So Mario chooses the power block dialogue option, leaves the area again, survives the minigame, and ends up once again in this room. This time the dry bone wants the spring dialogue option. If Mario enters the spring option, the fight is finally resolved peacefully, and Mario is able to spare the Koopa skeleton. The dry bone seems pretty happy about this. Don't get confused since he isn't celebrating. That's just because he has no body to celebrate with. Anyway, now Mario sees the true ending, where he eats all the yum yum mushrooms and the enemies at the top survive. Hooray! Okay, so how did all of this work? Well, some parts of it are actually surprisingly simple, others aren't. So let's start with the attack minigame. This one is really simple. At the top is an anti-jump womp hidden, which triggers a power block as soon as Mario jumps. The womp is on tracks, so that Mario isn't able to trigger it before the shell med cannon fires. The shell med cannon fires and picks up the bullet blaster. Once Mario jumps, the anti-jump womp immediately triggers the power block. The shellmet leaves the game and the bullet blaster drops down where he just was. Now only one of the 3 doors is accessible. The door to the left deals 3 damage, the middle one 2 and the one to the right deals 1. These doors lead directly to the damage room. Now Mario activates 1, 2 or 3 shells, depending from where he entered. Super simple, isn't it? Sadly, I wasn't able to build a system that deals damage immediately as soon as Mario enters the room without this boring waiting sequence. I really tried and I still believe it should be possible, but the timing of the shells so that they don't run into each other is a nightmare. If the power block is triggered, this muncher dies and the bullet blaster closes the one exit while opening up the other. The minigame randomization is super simple as well. Basically, we have 3 randomizers wired together. One blooper randomizer, which either opens up the path to the right or the one to the left, and then 2 clown car randomizers that use the fact that ouched clown cars randomly drive towards the right or towards the left in order to grow the vines. The minigames should be pretty self-explanatory as well. That's what the timer at the top looks like. Okay, so the little bit more sophisticated stuff, the hint system and the dialogue menu. So the hint system first. Every time the dry bone is loaded, he gives a different hint. The first time P-switch, then power block, then spring, and from then on he's out of hints and gives no hint at all. This works by pretty complicated spawn blocking chains. I won't go over everything in detail, but what roughly happens is the following. There are tons of bob arms which are spawn blocked because a block lives at the place where they live. If a bob arm goes boom, he destroys the spawn blocking blocks, which means the next bob arm is able to spawn the next time the room is loaded. This chain, for example, is set up in a way that only the 4th time the room is loaded, this spring and this shell are able to load. They trigger this invisible block, which means that no items drop down from the 4th time onwards. The P-switch at the bottom becomes spawn blocked by an invisible block after its first load, and the other items are set up in a way to drop down the 2nd and 3rd time the room is loaded. Okay, the custom dialogue system. This system is set up in a way that the 3 correct inputs need to be done in the right order. If any input is done at the wrong time, the system deactivates and the peaceful solution becomes locked. First, why do the 3 inputs deactivate after 1 input? That's super simple. We use an anti-jump womp at the top once again to test Mario's vertical position and to trigger a power block once Mario hit a question block. This destroys this muncher and moves this chain jump pole on top of the conveyor belts below the input spot, which locks all inputs. So how do we test for correct inputs and permanently lock the contraption if a wrong input is entered? There is a shell at the top left that travels to the right and activates a P-switch if the left input is triggered last and the 2 other inputs were done correctly before. There is a spawn blocked big bob amp that only is able to spawn if the middle bob amp was triggered first. This big bob amp destroys this block, which drops down this muncher and completes the bridge for the shell. The small bob amp doesn't boom effective enough to destroy this block. Because of this, we can be sure that the inputs need to be done in the right order. The rest of the contraption are stupidly overcomplicated ways to spawn block everything in such a way that each input deactivates the machine if it is done at the wrong time. If anyone wants to take a closer look at how all of this works, I actually uploaded the stage page. The link is in the description. So here we have it, an almost feature-complete recreation of Undertale's brilliant combat system in Super Mario Maker. I had a ton of fun building this silly little thing, and I hope all of you wonderful ladies and gentlemen enjoyed watching this video about it. If you did, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, and maybe you feel especially determined today and want to hit the subscribe button as well. I hope that all of you have a wonderful day and to see you soon. Goodbye!